I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, do not keep paying these astronomical electric bills. Stephen Bader from IQ Power Solar will tell us how to save you money, and Rick Singh will be here to talk about his campaign. It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. If you've been threatened by the IRS, you're not helpless. I'm attorney Justin Clark. You have the power to fight wage garnishments and to fight levies on your account. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your life.
This is a special offer from IQ Power Solar.
Stop paying high electric bills with a solar power system from IQ Power Solar. And now it's never been easier. IQ Power Solar can give you immediate electric bill relief right now when you go solar. IQ Power Solar will reimburse you for your very next electric bill. Plus, if you're a first responder, IQ Power Solar will pay your program payment for the rest of the year. Call 407-585-1018 now or visit iqpowersolar.com.
And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the show. Any questions whatsoever, have people standing by to answer them. All you have to do is call 407-205-0400. If you want to start that house hunt this weekend, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgage is standing by at that very same phone number to get you pre-qualified so you can start that house hunt today. Amazing show. You will not want to miss one single minute. But first, it's time for the opening statement. Today's show is all about how to increase the value of your home. It's the biggest investment that we have. I would think that we really need to focus on doing things, especially when it comes to upgrades on your house. What are some ways that we can increase the value of our absolute biggest investment in life? That's our house. Our primary home is our biggest investment. We want that value to continue to go up. Now, what better way and who better to ask about how to increase the value of your home other than Orange County property appraiser Rick Singh and our good friend and COO of IQ Power Solar, Stephen Bader. Gentlemen, welcome back. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Rick, let me start with you here because it's election time, yes. I know, and a lot of people think everyone follows the presidential election or elections in D.C. Sometimes I think the local elections, like what you're involved in, can really have more of an impact on someone's life than the presidential election. Tell me about your office and when do people need to vote?
So the primary is August 18th. Early voting has started. Absentee ballots have gone out. So we're asking everybody to get to the ballot as soon as boxes as soon as you can and cast your vote.
Now, one thing that you and I have talked about a lot is, as a constitutional officer, you don't have to have any sort of history in property appraisal or real estate at all.
True. Absolutely true.
But Rick Singh, on the other hand, does. Tell me about your background.
So I am a state certified appraiser. I actually have worked in the property appraiser's office in a very entry-level position, worked my way up, got state certified, went into private practice, started an appraisal firm. We service 5 counties, so it was a very sizable firm. Simultaneously, I also became a real estate broker, owned a couple of Century 21 franchises in town. Decided to close it after the economic crisis that we had, and ran for office and was successful to be the property appraiser of Orange County. And I brought that public and private sector experience to the office of the property appraiser. This was an office that was really being operated with unconscious incompetence. They didn't know that they didn't know, and we've revolutionized that office since 2013.
Politics can be a little bit dirty, even on a local level. Does that ever get you down? Does it bother your family when you hear bad things that most of the time are not even true at all? Politics is dirty. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I am a human being at the end of the day. My family are human, you know, and I try to keep that away from my family as much as I can. In this day and age, we're in an age of technology where everything pops up on the internet. It's the misinformation and half-truths, and you know, the irony is, you know, we get some members of the media to print a salacious newspaper article or to print or to publish a you know, a 5 o'clock broadcast, breaking news. They will always tell half the story and never tell the whole story. That's the frustration being a political person in the public.
Now, Stephen Bader, you and I obviously clearly can't run for office because of all the skeletons that we have, you know what I mean? But you run a private company called IQ Power Solar. You know all about IQ because I've told you about my history with them, where I got sick and tired of paying $600 a month for my electricity bill. I hired his company. Now I pay $50 a month for my electricity bill. Even here in August, when it's 150 degrees outside, Steve, I'm paying $50 a month. So number one, thank you. It really has changed my life. I'm not fighting with my kids every night. Like, hey, turn off the AC, turn it up, or turn off those lights. Like, well, you do whatever you want because I'm only paying $50 a month. And so thank you, number one. But also, you can never convince me that if I go to sell my house, that solar system that you installed in my house is not positively impacting the value of my house. I know it is, because if there are two houses for sale in my neighborhood, one has an electric bill of $50 a month, one has a $600 bill, that is a value to someone who's looking to buy your house. But it seems like it's taken a little bit longer for appraisers to catch up with this. I mean, what are you seeing down in the trenches on solar affecting value of house?
Well, I have a lot of testimonials of people buying solar from us. We've even had some people on this show that bought solar from us 3 years ago, sold their house and bought again, and they received their value increase. It's not really disputed. I understand that there is a lack of awareness, which, Rick and I were actually talking about before. But, on average, according to Zillow statistics, et cetera, in Florida, home value increases are, per solar are 4% or higher. Actually, Orlando is the highest in the whole state at 4.6%. I will note that that's based on a pretty small size system that they say is the average, but that system is 60% of the size of our average system. So comparatively, I do believe that our if we sell a $30,000 system, it gets a real value increase. So. The only real dispute is sometimes that, sometimes a house will sell quicker with solar, and the only metric that says that maybe it takes a little longer to get that value, according to Zillow, you may wait an extra 8 days, which I'm happy to wait for, for the home value increase.
Right.
So.
And if you have questions about solar, please reach out to Steve now, 407-205-0400. I see no reason to pay these outrageous electric bills anymore when there is another option. I mean, these utility companies have essentially had a monopoly on our lives since we were little kids, and we just have gotten used to paying whatever they say to pay. There are other options out there, and IQ Power Solar is certainly the best solar company. I'm so happy that I went that direction. Now, Rick, a private appraiser, maybe they do 3, 4, 5 appraisals a month. You are appraising every single property in Orange County.
Close to 686,000.
Unbelievable. I mean, how do you do it?
So essentially, we have 1,000 years of appraisal experience at the Office of the Property Appraiser. When I got elected in 2013, I was able to recruit and hire and train some amazing folks that had, we went to the Value Adjustment Board and got a seasoned magistrate to come onto the Property Appraiser's office. She heads up our commercial department. We have MAIs, we have SRAs, we have just amazing credentialed people that's able to do the work. And then we leverage technology. We leverage technology and write programs that's able to do it in a mass environment. In the mass appraisal world, we have to assess in a mass environment, but when we're challenged, we have to defend that in a single appraisal environment. So, we have to be competent to do that. And I'd like the public to know that we are #1 in the state for accuracy of assessment, and we're also #1 in the state for defensive assessment. When a large amount of money is being challenged, last Value Adjustment Board, I believe it's $40 billion was challenged by these large corporations, and we've defended that at the tune of 99.9% defense rate.
Yeah, solar is one of those things too, where someone can go and redo their kitchen, and they're going to spend $30,000 or $40,000 redoing their kitchen, and I imagine that increases the value of the house in some way. Certainly not dollar to dollar, but when someone invests in solar, if you think about it, Rick, they're not just outlaying the cash. They're now actually saving money every month on that electricity bill. I mean, that has to positively affect the value of the home in some way. What do you think?
Absolutely, but from a macro standpoint, we have not had enough solar in Central Florida. If this was Boston, Massachusetts, we would have the data there that would be able to help us crunch those numbers and understand, perform the regression analysis and understand the actual quantitative value to that. We just haven't had enough of it in Orange County to make that determination. Obviously, it's a no-brainer, like you said. It's an added benefit, like you said. But to qualify that number appropriately from a macro standpoint, it's very difficult. I think it's a little premature for us as the property appraiser. And then there's the thing about legislation. You know, Tallahassee lawmakers ought to recognize this, and many of them do, but they need to realize it. And when they realize it, that is when the adjustments and the guidelines for solar is going to kick in. And I think that's when your industry will definitely take off to the next level, whatever the next level is. You know, we have, as property appraisers, we're all poised. We recognize the added value, but we're waiting for legislation to give us the actual green light where we can handle all of these 686,000 parcels that I was talking about earlier from a uniform standpoint. We want uniformity, we want fairness, and we want equity in the tax roll and also in the assessment of these entities.
Well, Steve, why don't we all have solar? Why is solar taking so long to catch on here?
Well, that's actually an interesting point in his rhetoric there. The difference between auto recognition and realization, and it's a very peculiar point that's not really acknowledged often, but he's right in the sense that they get it. It's, in a common sense one-on-one conversation, it's recognized, but it's not realized until the house is sold and there's real data and there's trackable metrics.
Right.
So you got to think we've done millions and millions of dollars worth of installations. We've installed thousands of homes, but maybe 2 or 3% of our customers have sold. So that's not very many homes that have real data, but at the end of the day, they get their money back already. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, you said, why haven't more people gone solar? It's increasing drastically, but one unique thing which makes property value recognition and realization so important in Florida is that in regard to what's making solar expand nationally, like for instance, I don't know if you know, but California just passed a law now effective 2020, every house has to have solar. Mm-hmm. But there's been laws in Hawaii as early as 2008 where you can, build a new house without solar hot water. But the things that make those states develop so swiftly are things like, power purchase agreements, which I don't particularly agree with for the state of Florida. So, but without PPAs or power purchase agreements, the only benefits that are really going to drive homeowners to go solar is a realized property value increase and the federal tax credit. So it's really important that people do understand. Look, I've gotten 2 appraisals. I've talked to them. I just let them look at the contract, but then when I talk to them simply and I say, look, I don't go into the details about what system I have. I just say, hey, I have a $20 bill. They actually appraised my system for like $3,000 more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you just hand the appraiser a contract, because my appraiser every time has asked me, you have anything you want to say? And I say, yeah, I have R49 insulation and I have a variable speed pool pump. But you do all that? Okay. But when I say I have a $20 bill, that they recognize that and realize that differently. So.
Yeah, and in some ways, I want Rick's appraisal to come in lower because I want to pay as little taxes as I can as well. But I want, obviously, if I go to sell my house, I want the market value to be as high as it can. But while I'm living there, I don't necessarily want to pay high taxes, so we kind of hope your appraisal comes in low, too.
But that's a very valid point you made. Educating your appraiser is so valuable when you're getting a fee appraiser. That appraiser don't know your property. You live there 24/7. You know your property. You know the additions that you've done. You know the upgrades you've done. So you've got to educate that appraiser. Give him all the documentation so he can make an intelligent decision. So very important.
Yeah, most of our customers, they're intimidated. They don't want to say anything.
Exactly.
And I say, don't do that. They're humans. Talk to them, tell them. And that's what makes our approach so special, really, because when I said, hey, this is a hybrid tank, because our whole house is sophisticated, right? They're not going to be like, oh, well, the pool pump looks like it's going to go. But I've never had a problem talking to an appraiser. I mean, they're so approachable. They're very cool listening to you. They took good notes. And my houses have always appraised well, and just by telling them that one thing, like talk to the appraiser. Don't be, intimidated.
At the end of the day, you are the subject matter expert on the solar side of it. So an appraiser should listen to you. We're always looking for more information to add to the equation. And if we have that information, then we're able to make a decision on it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we have that information. It's very, very valuable, and we'll be able to make a decision more appropriately.
Two very important things that I need to remind you right now. Rick Singh needs your vote. If you're in Orange County, we have a primary coming up. I need you to get out and vote for Rick Singh. Who can vote in the primary in Orange County, Rick?
So it's a Democratic primary, so it's anyone that's a registered Democrat in Orange County. That's the way the system was designed. We had a Yahoo out in Winter Garden that came and entered a race as a Republican write-in, which basically has closed off the primary to 2/3 of the electorate. So unfortunately that has happened, but we do have Democrats that can vote. So we're asking you to come out and vote early, and of course vote for Rick Singh.
And if you are tired of paying those electricity bills, stop doing it. Do what I did, hire IQ Power Solar. Literally, you have no money down, you don't have to pay a penny, and there's no consultation fee either. Call Stephen Bader right now, 407-205-0400. Back to solar for a second, guys. This is for both of you. Is this a partisan issue in any way? Because I know that there's always some fighting about tax benefits and things with solar. Is it a partisan thing?
I don't get into the partisan politics. In my world, my appraisal world, there's no Republican way or Democratic way to assess. I tell my staff there's the fair and equitable way and the right way to assess. And I think in solar, whether it's saving money or tax credit or whatever it is, people, the average family out there looking to save as much as they can and put back as much as they can in their pockets. I don't think it's a partisan issue. It should not be a partisan issue.
Steve?
No, I agree. And, we've been blessed with every type of client. We have clients on every side of the tracks that, even sides that haven't really been defined. But at the end of the day, man, people want to save money. They don't want to pay a $350 bill. And, whether it's a really wealthy couple or a single mother, if you can get rid of a $300 bill, man, and they're investing in their home, and the most important thing that people don't really acknowledge is you can't control the $300 bill. It might go up 4% next year and 4% after that. And in 4 years, now 300 is 375. So when you just tell a homeowner, and it's that simple, I agree with Rick, it's not a partisan issue. We're going to get rid of 370. We're going to give you some control over understanding the scope of your costs long term, and we're going to do it for less than you're already, and put money back into your pocket as far as your budget's concerned. That's why they go solar.
When I went solar, I saved $10,000 on my taxes, though, because I went solar. And my understanding is that it's a good thing I did it when I did, because some of those benefits, Steve, are going away. Mm-hmm. Correct? Explain that to me. Why would we be taking the tax benefits away from going solar?
Well, the ITC was brought to fruition in 2006, and it was supposed to be from 2006 to 2016. It was put in during the Clinton administration, and then instead of going away completely in 2016, the Trump administration extended it to 2019, and then it kind of trickles away. So you actually purchased your first round of solar under 30%. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't believe it. What happens to consumer confidence when they're told it's going away 2016 and then it doesn't? Now they get caught in that it's not going to go away thing, and they did, because now it's 26%, and it's going to 22%, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
I've never seen it so far. Once a three-tier or three-step process of dissipation is engaged, I have not seen it come back. So it's already started. It's pretty solid. It's going away. So get solar. Our model, thank God, still makes some sense, with or without the tax credit, but it's definitely icing on the cake.
I totally agree. And Rick, one of the other ways I see families save money every month, and people ask me pretty much every day about this too, is we want to apply for our Homestead Exemption. Can you explain what that is so people at home know exactly what that means and how it does save them money?
Sure. So Homestead Exemption is essentially a discount, for want of better words, that you receive on the first $25,000 of the assessment of your home. So if you have a home that's assessed at $100,000, we'll lop off the first $25,000 and only assess on the remaining $75,000. But Homestead Exemption is above and beyond that. It is, the idea of getting that Save Our Homes cap. It puts a cap on an increase of your home for the next year and subsequently the year after. So if the economy goes up at an increase of 10%, 10%. The Save Our Home is only capped at 3%, only goes up 3%. So like a robust economy like we've had in the last 7-8 years, we've had double-digit increases, and Save Our Homes have saved people so much money. In addition to Save Our Home, we have widow and widowers exemption, fallen hero exemption, military exemptions. So we have just a treasure trove of exemptions, and we make a sincere effort to our staff, to the public, to get that information out and let them know about the exemption. Quick shout out to my staff. Congratulations. We won the Stevie Award for Organization of the Year. We won 4 of those this year. The goal for Organization of the Year, competing there was Microsoft and a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and the Property Appraisers Office of Orange County was very fortunate to win not 1 but 4. And one of those Stevie Awards we won for customer service and advocating and letting the public know public information.
Beautiful. And quick shout out too, happy birthday.
It's his birthday today. So it is my birthday today.
Thanks for coming in. And this is really for both of you as well, because you in the private, you in the public sector, we've all been going through this pandemic together since really mid-March, I would say. I mean, how have you been able to pivot your job basically to adjust to all this, and likewise to you, Steve, in the private sector? How have we been able to pivot and still survive?
We're a very nimble organization, and we prepare for catastrophes in Orange County. After a storm, our office is the next boots on the ground in terms of after public safety. So we are in the field for assessing damages for the purpose of reporting that number to our local jurisdictions, who ultimately report it to the governor. Subsequently, he reports it to FEMA. That's how essentially local aid is received. So our office is nimble. We have a seat at the EOC. So we practice and train for this type of environment. And when the pandemic was announced, I'm very proud to say that we were the first organization in Orange County, if not the state, to go remote, 100% remote. So we are functioning. Our staff is doing a jam-up job. We leverage technology. So if you go on our website, we've got some bots there that's actually answering the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, and then transmitting that to a person that saves. We're using drone technology to assess properties now. So I just took a class at MIT, and I'm really putting that. I'm very excited about being able to implement that into our daily activity at the property appraiser's office. So we've been able to pivot, excellent. We're doing a wonderful job in pivoting.
Yeah. What about you, Steve? What about IQ?
Well, we really weren't a nimble organization, but we did make some swift adjustments. But going into March, when this really started to affect us, it took till the end of March for us to really acknowledge and be forced to recognize what this was. We have 7 service trucks for every install truck, so it was kind of hard, Justin, because we had to go to the point where 2 guys can't ride in the same car anymore, which means if it's a 2-guy job, which half of the service jobs are, 2 guys have to lift a panel for safety and go up a ladder. So now you got to use 2 vans. So we've had to add about 9 or 10 vehicles just to abide by our CDC, infrastructure guidelines. So, and then if a guy got sick or had a fever, we sent him home immediately. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 weeks, and we had some scares with some of our head guys, and it definitely sent scheduling back 3 or 4 weeks, but. Our installations have increased, and we've been very fortunate there. It's just that servicing people has been very tough, and but we immediately put in a no contact service thing. Open the garage, you can stay inside, kind of thing. And but other than that, we adjusted. I think there was a six week lag, but we adjusted pretty quick. I
get a lot of clients in my office who want to sue their solar company, not IQ, of course, because they're sort of sold a bill of goods at times. And then really the solar company that's selling you the equipment, they're literally just salespeople. You won't ever see them again. Certainly their name won't be on the trucks that are coming to do the install. I know with IQ, because I bought from you, it's IQ the whole way.
Justin, I literally lost a deal this morning, and I refused to just start bad-mouthing other companies, but he just wouldn't listen, And I said, look, and here's the thing, solar panels are warranted for 25 years. So he goes, if it's warranted for 25 years, it's warranted for 25 years. I go, okay, but when you call your salesman and he's like, he's in Gainesville now, or he's in, Georgia, and he's like, oh, you got to call the installer, and now you got to find her again, you call the installer, and he's like, oh, we don't warranty, we install. it's a disaster. It takes 8 months, and when it's one panel, when it's two panels, people just drop it. They don't actually keep hounding. When you got a 30 panel system, they don't keep hounding for one panel, and it's silly. It doesn't make any sense. But you can tell people, like, listen, turn on the news, watch this. Let me show you this article. Do everything but just blatantly badmouth contractors, and you're talking about, on a $50,000 deal, you're talking about them making that decision over saving 1% interest rate. Because actually those are more expensive. They're $6,000 more, but if they have a 25-year loan with a 1% lower interest rate, the payment's $40 less. They're like, all I care is about the payment.
Do yourself a favor. Call Stephen Bader, IQ Power Solar. Do like I did. Don't rely on these electric companies taking advantage of you every single month. I went solar. You should too. Call Steve right now at 407-205-0400. Thank you, Steve. Rick Singh, thank you, buddy. Now, can you guys stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable?
Absolutely.
All right, we got a bunch of questions coming in. And without further ado, it's time for the Real Estate Roundtable. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, I answer your questions from throughout the week and from throughout the show. If you have questions, all you have to do is go to our Facebook page. You Have Real Estate, ask me a question right there, and we just might answer it next week here on the TV program. All right, Maria in Orlando says, I think Mr. Singh is doing a fantastic job. How can I help his campaign, Rick?
Call our office or go on Facebook, social media, but our website is votericksingh@gmail.com, Maria. We'd love to engage you and get you to participate in the campaign. It's exciting times. Campaigns are fun. So we'd love to have you.
And one more thing, your daughter also running for office this time around to be a judge in Orange and Osceola.
Yes, she's running to be a judge in our Orange and Osceola County, and she's receiving tremendous support from the community at large. She was raised right here in Central Florida, so her slogan is for the community, from the community, or vice versa. But yeah, she's doing well. She's got a tremendous amount of experience as a litigator. She's done defense contracts, and she brings a unique perspective to the table in that she has private sector experience, but also public sector experience, and that she's a director at DBPR with Deputy Director of Department of Real Estate.
All right, Ali in Claremont says, how hard is it to get financing for solar? Stephen?
It's very easy. Actually, most of our programs, it's like 2 or 3 questions. It's a soft inquiry. Within a couple of seconds. They don't ask you for any blood samples, or it's extremely easy. I mean, a couple seconds, really.
Yeah, I did it myself. I mean, it is not a scary proposition in any way. I mean, it seems like most people are getting approved.
And we had to send you the email like 7 times.
But that, Steve, I'm busy, Steve. You should have sent it to Pilar. You know better than this. Why would you send it to me? Send it to Pilar.
Emails.
I don't have time to do personal
Once you
things.
open the email, it's 3 or 4 seconds.
John in Castleberry, how does one man tell us what all the houses in a county are worth? I think that's for you, Rick.
Yeah, I think it's knowing what you're doing. It's experience. Experience matters, and essentially, it's doing the job. It's having a passion for it. It's having being dipped in this. I bring 25 years experience to this industry. I just didn't wake up yesterday and say I want to run for property appraiser. I've been in this business for a while, both public and private sector, as I said earlier. So we've done it, and the proof is in the pudding. We are number 1 in the state for accuracy. The Department of Revenue does a test on every tax roll that's called level of assessment, and that's where they go out and compare the assessed value of which property appraisers derive to the market value, and ratio studies. And essentially, we've topped that year in and year out.
Please remember, vote Rick Singh. A little less than 2 weeks from today. And Stephen Bader with IQ Power Solar. Don't keep paying these crazy electric bills. 407-205-0400. But most importantly, thank you for joining us today. I'm attorney Justin Clark. We'll see you next week for You Have Real Estate.